couple of questions. Really, I want to focus on affordable housing and thriving neighborhoods specifically.
Right.
And as you know, CNE really believes that thriving neighborhoods should offer opportunities for economically and racially diverse residents.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on how we balance creating neighborhoods that are full of amenities that everybody wants, and we all kind of know when we see it, oh, this is a thriving neighborhood, it has a lot to offer,
Right.
but then with housing affordability, because oftentimes those sorts of neighborhoods, rents tend to be more expensive, or as those things happen in a neighborhood, rents, they start pricing people out. So how do you see, how would you balance that?
Well, I'm a big fan of mixed use and of development that incorporates housing types for all people together, right? So I think that's the best practices in development are around that right now, and I would follow those. There isn't a blanket approach. Every neighborhood's different, but I should say right now in the city, new housing almost de facto can't be affordable housing, though it does go back to affordable housing. A lot of that has to do with code reform. Builders will tell you that, again, the tangle of code and ordinance in the city just makes it very difficult for people to want to invest in the city. I would appoint a code czar to really start at the beginning, really with housing and disentangle that, working with the city council to try to, go back and take 50 years of confused and often contradictory code and make it easier to do affordable housing. Chattanooga, also has a land bank that just is sitting there unused. I mean, almost 1,000 properties, thousands of acres, and of course that stuff could be used to further increase the supply of affordable housing, hopefully with CNE. So that's a big part of it. And again, we need housing of all types. We have this kind of missing middle problem. So I'm a reader. I'm a big student of the literature, and I try to keep up. And I would support you guys very specifically in this quest to build great neighborhoods.
Yeah, so when you're outdoor knocking, I think CNE, we're really proud of our missing middle prototypes that we've built. So on the corner of Willow and Union, we've got sixplexes, we have single family houses, both about 12 to 1,300 square foot, 900 square foot, a couple different kinds of sixplexes. And so I think that there's an opportunity, not just locally, but I know there's national interest in the way that CNE is bringing missing middle to neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's right. I would just add to that two things. One, I would really want to look at ways that we can create safe but functional common areas, to sort of build that sense of community. I think that's an important part of it. And look, I think we have this incredible foundation community in Chattanooga. I think there's some really, really interesting ways that we can create these capital stacks where a lot of that foundation money can be used as impact investment, locally invested dollars to leverage affordable housing in Chattanooga.
Yeah. I look forward to having more conversations with you about the capital stack. We've had some of those conversations, and we did pursue some of it. That's a longer conversation we can have, but it's complicated, as you know, since you did it.
It is, but it can be done, and I'm committed to getting it done.
Yeah. So I know that you've looked at CNE's recommendations that we're making, our recent platform on affordable housing and thriving neighborhoods. So what in our platform, what ideas resonated with you, and then what ideas challenged you?
Well, so the ideas that resonated with me, the report was fantastic, and I'll get to this, but we developed an entire plan around it. In fact, the neighborhood focused approach is one of my three main pillars that we talk about, along with education and just leading us out of this crisis. So, developing a long-term strategy, I think, was one of the things that really stuck with me for thriving neighborhoods and housing. I mean, that we need that. I'm a strategic guy. It's crazy to me that we don't have that. We should have it. And we should stick to it. Establish an executive level position to lead citywide efforts here on achieving the mayor's neighborhood and housing goals. I think that's a really important part of it, to work with you guys and others to execute the strategy. I would, very frankly, separate economic development of the city from community development, put this under community development, and make this a top priority. And again, back to, I would also fix these development practices that act as regulatory and cost barriers to new housing development by updating, revising codes to make sure that it's easier for builders to invest in the right things. And again, back to the foundation, or perhaps even city money or other money. You know, we need to incentivize what we want to see done, and I think there are interesting ways to do that.
Mhm. You know, one of
Oh, yeah.
the,
I didn't get to the challenges, but
that's fine. Go ahead.
well, the challenges, you know, the things that really you know, disturbed me were, of course, the affordability gap. You know, the 14, you know, the fact that the average renter makes 14.23 an hour, which translates to $750 a month, and you know, our average rents are $1,100. That's a huge problem, a big problem. And of course, rank and file Chattanoogans will tell you that everybody understands it viscerally and in their pocketbooks, and it's got to change. Very frankly, it's baffling and depressing to realize how wide this gap is between the two Chattanoogas, particularly in that River to Ridge area. That's another long report that I've read through, and it's just shows you how much work we have to do here. And it's also challenging to see how many of these steps just weren't already taken. Very frankly, I'm not running against the current mayor, and Mayor Burke's done some fantastic work, but I think there's a lot of stuff that we're behind, and we need to be really intentional about a strategy to get caught up here. And we, you know, so look, we can fix this stuff, but we have to. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And you guys have already begun. Very frankly, I think we just need to be doing more of what you're already doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say to your around the report and some of your ideas. One of the great things that I find about Chattanooga is that there are people here that are connected nationally. And so we don't have to, and that's one of what CNE's been able to do, is to bring some of these ideas to the forefront of best practices.
Mhm.
I mean, there are places that have tried code revisions and revised to make things more easy for development, less burdensome, not just for development, but businesses as well. And to your point, with the foundation support and the existing structures, I think that we are poised to be able to really execute on a lot of these ideas.